Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Catering Cage, where we make all of your catering dreams come true. Our focus here is on restaurants, catering out of restaurants. Today, I'm very excited. Really excited about the two guests that have agreed to be on this show because they're really part of the OG, the catering OG. Both operators, both incredible human beings. I would say authors. I would say trainers and educators. Both of these gentlemen understand the concepts of catering deeply. They have lived it, they have researched it, they have documented it, and they have real results to share with you. I'm really excited today to have TJ Shear, Sam Stanovich. Welcome to the show, guys. I know you're sitting there in Florida. Nice of you to make some time for us. Before we
Happy to be here.
How's the beach?
Earl, I am super excited to enter the cage with TJ. Let's get ready to rumble.
Well, listen, you guys have been doing this for a long time. Selling catering into multi-unit restaurants is difficult. Let's start there. What is going on there? Because I know that within the system, for example, each of you were franchisees. Mm-hmm. Sam, you were a multi-unit restaurant operator, right? TJ, did you have more than one Which in the days?
We had 17.
Yeah, right. So you both were there at the franchisee level.
Right.
And you went off on your own. You said, you know what, franchisor, catch you later, alligator. I'm going because you weren't, just the disconnect, right? So I would love to just zero in right there. Sam, what is it? What's happening?
Well, I think what it is, and here's where most people miss the boat, is everyone wants catering, but nobody understands that catering isn't a silver bullet in terms of securing the business. They need to go out and hustle and grind every single day. They need to develop great lists. They need to be pragmatic in their strategy, and the strategy has to be relentless. And that's where the breakdown occurs. They think that they could do it on Monday night, but they have to realize that they need to do something Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, all 7 days a week until they really get that train out of the station. Because you don't know when somebody needs it or when the timing is right or when you're going to hit gold when somebody's willing to have that conversation anymore, because we live in such a 24/7 era. People are always checking and looking at their devices differently. And especially when it comes to offices, they're not staffed every day. So the old strategy of going into an office building to try and canvas it, you don't know which day the right admin is going to be in the right place doing the right thing. So you really need to understand what your market is doing and go after it. But it's not a 1 or 2 day a week thing. This is an everyday occurrence that needs to go on.
Totally. So, you got to build a machine like anything, right? So there's certain activities. I mean, in my world, we built we call it the foundation or the structure, the framework. It's our framework, but there's other frameworks, as you guys know, right? So, investing into, in our case, it's, 109 characteristics. There's 12 investments. There's 5 stages. That's just really to give people just some compass to just get an idea of some of the stuff you have to do. But, TJ, when I think of you and I think back to the old days, and I think, I think my first visit to Dallas, I'm thinking probably 2008.
Yeah.
Middle of summer, July, I get off the plane. It's 110. The wind is blowing. I mean, it is like a blast furnace, and there's grasshoppers flying around that was my first, and you I talked about this before the show today, and I think you reminded me that I was actually there to visit you, which is kind of cool. And I remember, you were behind the counter, and what was happening there? Because I remember, without naming names, I mean, the which franchisor were trying to get their minds wrapped around catering. Franchisees were kind of do their own thing. You were off doing your own thing. What was the hardest part about selling it into the franchisor to really get the support that you needed as a franchisee to double down and invest in your catering business? Where was the shortfall?
I think when I look back there, we just were running faster than the franchisor at the time. They had a catering program, which was great. I mean, we had the product there. So I think, in their mind, they provided the tool for us that we needed. It's just like, though, if you get on an escalator, to me, becoming a franchisee is getting on an escalator. The franchisor kind of does a little bit of the lifting. And as a franchisee, I can stand there and let the system work, or I can kind of move up the elevator or escalator faster. And we just saw the need to drive revenue immediately. And so we really latched on to taking the program that was provided to us, but then starting to do, like Sam said, getting out into the community and doing the heavy lifting. And it really hit me because all of our restaurants were primarily in suburb locations. So we didn't do a lot of typical business catering. But my daughter was going into the 9th grade at the time. It was in the summer. It was probably right before you got there. She has band practice in July, like three times a day. You know, there are poor kids out there are sweating their rear ends off. And she comes home with this sheet that says, hey, I need $70 to pay for the 10 box meals for the whole season. And it's Raising Cane's, Chick-fil-A, Jason's, Panera, you know, those typical ones. And I'm like, man, why aren't we part of this thing? And I think it's one of those challenges is people don't know we cater. They may not know your brand caters. And so that's when the light bulb went off for me. It's like, I'm going to go attack schools. They need these deliveries in the afternoon. They need them on Saturdays. And we just went full bore. And it worked out great because my DO and we ran a lean organization. We had 17 witches at the peak. But my DO, he said, look, I'm going to make the food. You just go sell the food and get the orders. And so we kind of divided the tasks up. And I became basically the salesperson, and he became the executor of this thing. And if anybody knows anything about Witch, we were doing custom sandwiches even for catering. So
I remember.
It was insane. But it really helped us float the boat. And
that was against my advice, TJ.
I know.
we fought that one. I don't know. I lost. I totally lost.
It was our point of difference. We learned some things over time. You know, so we used to like if we did a football team every game for 10 weeks.
Yeah.
I don't care if you get a sandwich or Chick-fil-A or whatever, you're going to get tired of it. And our whole point of difference was, hey, the other sandwich guys are going to let you just get ham or turkey. We're going to let you customize this. And we had to learn to skinny it down and what traveled well. But that was our big selling point. Hey, decision maker, we're letting the kids pick. The funny thing was like 7th and 8th graders, they all just want ham and American cheese and nothing else anyway. But it was a great selling point for us.
Yeah.
Well, and TJ, I mean, here's the point. What did you do differently there?
Yeah.
You provided service, right? You took your expertise and you showed that service and authenticity of who you were and the hospitality to the moms and the groups who don't do it. And you were able to win, right? Because of that.
Yeah.
And I think Erle getting into the cage match here, right? Thinking about Catering Cage, like let's take that to the next level, right? How do you become the resource for your catering customers? So for example, get a couple other partners in the market that are non-competitive, because TJ hit the point right on the head. These kids don't want to eat the same sandwich, the same chicken, or the same hamburger all the time.
Right.
Find the food that travels the best and go work with those operators and become that central resource. And ideally, if you're really good at it, you own the ordering. But then what you do is you bring in the other partners and you layer them in and you control the flow and the cadence, right? But now you become the full-on provider and resource for that band director. Right. So that way, when they think of food, they call TJ. Regardless of the type of food, they're calling TJ.
Right.
And that's where we need to get in today's, let's get it catering to the next level, right?
That makes sense. I mean, look, yeah. I mean, we can go on a long time on this, Sam, because it's changing so much. I mean, so much has changed, but nothing's changed. It's kind of like that. There's so much happening out there right now. This whole food at work movement in terms of like, during the pandemic, operations like Sodexo, Aramark, Compass, they closed down a lot of those kitchens, which are now dormant, and restaurants are filling the space, like Easy Cater's figured that out. And there's just so many ways to slice and dice. But ultimately, like my passion and where I'm focusing the conversation is on the business to business transaction. Okay. Because primarily, like restaurants are unique, and doing catering out of restaurants is a unique thing because caterers who do catering don't have to worry about their restaurant. It's like, so you've got this business within a business that needs attention. The huge advantage of it and the beautiful thing about it is that you leverage existing assets. Okay. So your incremental cost is marginal, or it's variable based on labor, food, packaging, but your overhead is pretty consistent, right? And the same. So catering is just such this profitable thing, but actually executing it and understanding that catering is an operations-based problem and layering into your business is a complex dynamic, right? Which requires like an incredible leader. When we started this, I mean, TJ, you and your partner were leaders. Sam, when you were, when you were on hands on with your sub shops, you were in there, right? You were cracking the whip, you were running your business, you were dealing with everything, which is why you created magic out of those places, because it was operator driven, right? It's all operator driven, this whole conversation.
Well, it's operator driven, Earl, but I think what TJ and I were able to do as well is systemize it, right? At the end of the day, it became fundamentals. It became table stakes for our businesses to be in catering.
Right.
And it's still, I can't believe all these years later, TJ, we talk about this all the time, how it was, the gravy on top. No. You're going to open your doors and you're going to sell X amount of sandwiches at lunch. You should be selling X amount of catering at lunch as well.
Totally.
Right, TJ?
Yeah. I mean, I think there's really kind of three keys. One is what I've seen. One is you have to get off of the, hey, I need a 24-hour notice. You do that, you're not getting orders. And that is one of those beliefs that hopefully nobody still believes. I need 12 hours notice. Come on, the poor admin comes in that day, or his or her boss says, order catering, and they're calling somebody that's reliable that they trust. So you've got to be able to take orders on short term. I think the second piece, and Earl, you mentioned kind of the financial impact. I am shocked to this day about how many people say, well, if I sell catering, my cost of goods sold is going to go up. No bleep. Yes, it is. It is expensive from a percentage standpoint, but in my case, when I'm doing $1,500 a day in sandwich business, and then I'm doing a $10,000 worth of band orders on Saturday, yes, my costs go up, but the dollars I take to the bank are huge. And then I think the third piece, and again, this is just an excuse. It's like, well, I can't deliver. That problem's been solved for the majority of us out there with, third-party delivery companies, the Deliver That's of the world, and, even the DoorDashes. And I always tell people, we'll take the ones we want, and then we'll just outsource the rest, because I know I learned a ton from Sam one day. We were doing a webinar on how to maximize Easy Cater orders. How do you get up onto page one? And, my franchisor had signed us up with Easy Cater. Easy Cater had done a webinar with us, but they're not operators. They're just the salesperson. They didn't understand, hey, go in there and expand your delivery radius, do the partner preferred points. And yes, it costs you a little more, but you get to page one and, expand all these addresses out there. Well, I don't want to deliver 25 miles away, but they have somebody lined up for me. So I'll make food all day long, let somebody else deliver it, and it's a win-win.
Now, did you figure out, sort of the ecosystem between, sort of this relationship of first party, third party, and find a balance? Were you able to do that?
I think, the thing that frustrated me one time, but it really kind of was the lesson, is that we had like a $1,500 order going to BMW dealer. And I'm like, I'm taking this one. I want to go find out who this person is, because I'm paying 30% of, $1,500 on top of the cost of my goods. And I went over there, and the lady that bought this, I said, hey, just call me. I can cut you a deal. I can do whatever. I'll be your one-stop shop. She literally points me, goes, come over here, Scooter. And, she's got Tiff's treats, and she had, Einstein's for breakfast. She goes, I use Easy Cater because I have to learn one system, and I can pick what I want. And so that's where it just hit me. It's like, there are certain people you're never going to be able to convert over to first party. But when I have third party, I'm putting bounce back coupons in there. I'm putting flyers in there. I'm trying to use, to me, catering is paid marketing. My brand is getting out in front of all these people, not only for free, I'm getting paid. So there's the other layer of a benefit on there about building your brand of catering. Again, I think a lot of people just don't think about.
Amazing. Hey guys, question for you. I know you guys wrote a book, right? Right? Catering book. What's it called? What's the book called?
It's called The Smart Restaurant Guide to Catering Domination.
And how do people get it?
They can hit up Samurai, or it is back on Amazon, and we're happy to get those out there and spread the word.
Okay. And so in the book, is it like an how-to? Is it like just like what did you guys do there?
We built on the platform that you guys created at the Institute way back when, and kind of created took the pillars you guys had really started with and modified them just with some of our learnings, and essentially outlined the roadmap. I was, kind of the ops executor. Sam was kind of writing the lists, how to build lists and do sales funnels. And we literally just put our two operational heads together and leveraged what you guys had already built, and hopefully made it, I call them smart guides because I don't want to call them, for catering for dummies. But it really is a GPS of how to go build a catering program in your restaurant.
Amazing. Hey, Sam, you're working with Big Chicken now, right?
Yes, sir.
What's going on?
We're getting ready. You know, we've just come out of the gate. We've got 40 plus restaurants open, franchising for 2 years. And now we're having the catering conversation of how do we refine the right catering offering? How do we get catering to the market? And how do we teach all these franchisees how to be better catering operators in today's more challenging market where there's a lot of other players in there. But I mean, at the end of the day, TJ and I were in the most competitive segment called sandwich. If we could survive there, we'll survive anywhere. So you have to, you know, it's no different than any new operator who may be listening to the Catering Cage match here.
Yeah.
You know, it's about how do you design the business plan?
Yeah.
How do you commit to it as being pragmatic and disciplined and go forth and conquer and then measure your results? You got to be measuring every month. And I think what Catering Domination does in the book is in the SMART guide, it shows you the different pieces of the puzzle that you can deploy, refine. I mean, it's not the end all be all, but what we hope it does is it ignites and gives you a little bit of that lightning in the bottle to motivate you to go out and do it. And if you can just take one section of the book and start to deploy and win there, you know, the old saying, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
You know,
And
Sam,
it's the same thing with catering.
Totally. It's the little things that matter. And, you know, just on your point, like what you measure improves, right? Like, so I want to transition that for 1 second into like your health fitness journey. Because like you've been on this journey. I've watched you, like you've transformed your health and, you know, you look amazing, by the way.
I'm just trying to keep up with you, Erle.
Yeah.
You are my catering. You are the catering Zen master here. So if we can get to your age, Erle, and work out and do what we do, you know, we have to look up to you, my friend.
I'm not that much older than you, Sam. I don't think. But anyways, I just want to say, like, so in this journey, right? You've been measuring your thing, right? I don't know, like how deep you go, but you're getting on the scale? I imagine you're checking things out.
Every month. I mean, because I have specific health goals that I'm trying to get to.
Right.
So, I mean, I take my blood pressure every day. I go to the doctor every month. I'm on the scale once a month. I'm looking at all, you know, what are the factors that go along with it? You know, I did have some medical help along the way. But again, you know, to get off of that, you know, I don't want to hurt my body some other way, but it's the discipline, right? I eat better today. I still eat. I still enjoy all the great food and drinks that I have opportunity to. I just do it differently.
Right. But not a straight line, though, is what I want to say is it's like, it's not a straight line, right? Like it goes. Right. So, you know, to me, like there's the catering, look, anything you measure improves. So measuring is important. The KPIs, the metrics, you know, you guys have it all in your book. There's my book, Jim Rand's got, everyone's got stuff. It's all good. But, you know, I think the message for operators is business, the catering business is separate. I think people understand that now. It's different. The advantage of layering it into restaurants is that it's highly profitable because you're leveraging existing infrastructure. So that's an important message. And then you have to provide a leader who's got a vision for that business. Have you seen anybody, Sam? I'm wondering, like you're out there talking to a lot of operators, you're at the conferences. I'm waiting for like the chief catering officer to show up in one of these big brands. Has it happened yet?
I have not seen it, but that's something that we should talk about, Erle.
I mean,
and TJ, I mean, we should put that out there. I mean, it's that important to business, right? And you're right. I am surprised one of the big ones who have been very passionate about it has not had a chief catering officer. Well,
they've got to the director level, right? Like they've got VP digital off premises. Like that's happening. Like the VP, you know. But I have not seen anybody in the C-level suite yet.
Well, how about we have a conference coming up in October? Why don't we throw out the gauntlet there?
Yeah, well, we will.
See who can be the first one.
Listen, we will. But they're saying that there are some C-level, or I would say I'll call it CEOs, CMOs. There are some that really get the catering story. Like one that comes to mind is James O'Reilly. Okay, so James, he came out of the Einsteins. You know, he's now at Ascend Hospitality. He's rolling out catering at Huddle House. He's rolling out catering at Perkins. And guess what's happening? You know, it's amazing. Absolutely. But he gets it. And he's in front of it. He's on top of it. He's in it. He's driving it. Okay. And the results are amazing. So So I love those stories, and that, that's where, like, for a lot of brands that are suffering, or sales are marginal, or locations are marginal, catering becomes a great story, don't you think?
It does, and I would tell you, you're talking kind of top down. One of the things that we learned, kind of going through this journey, was the employees hated it. The managers hated it when we first started doing it,
Yeah, I
because
remember those days.
they're in a comfort zone. And now all of a sudden it's like, what do you mean I have to get ready for this 300 box lunch order at 3 o'clock in the afternoon? That's when everybody's cleaning up and going home in our sandwich shop. And so what we did was we really engaged them in the process. And if you guys ever remember that Chick-fil-A video, every guest has a story, it's really meant to connect to their customer and just kind of understand there's a person behind that transaction. We did a spin on that, and it was called Every Guest is an Opportunity. And we train the employees, go out there and talk to our existing customers today. They already know who we are. They probably just don't know we cater. And so they start talking to people. And what we did was we gave them an incentive of 10% of any catering order that they got us. So then all of a sudden I have a assistant manager going and contacting the schools for me. And she calls me up and says, hey, I just got a $5,000 season-long order from the middle school basketball team. Great. She gets $500. That's awesome. You got people now, all of a sudden they see the guy coming in from the Amazon warehouse, and they're talking to that person, and they may not be the decision maker, but they love Witch, and if they know their company caters, they'll get us in the door and get us that referral. Yeah, totally. And again, now all of a sudden the employees love it. They're out there talking to our customers. They're looking at lanyards and logos and starting to engage people. So bottom line is our service gets a lot better because we're personalizing things. But then we leverage the financial piece of this so that I'm encouraging guests to order first party instead of third party. Yeah. So even though I'm paying 10%, I'm saving 20. And I've got the team now excited about catering instead of like, totally. Another catering order.
Yeah, they're involved. They're compensated. And it is a team effort. And it makes total sense, TJ, at the end of the day. Look, I mean, it amazes me how operators have not yet tapped into the opportunity of selling catering just in their dining rooms.
Yep.
It blows me away. I don't say how it was for you, but for me, it was like, power hour. I mean, lunch comes, it's a rush, especially in the sandwich business. Like, it's 11:30, it starts to trickle. Boom, you get slammed. 12:31, 1:32, it starts to trickle out. You start thinking about catering, start thinking about the next day. You might have a little afternoon business, but for the most part, you got that power hour, and people are in your store. And if brands would just like elevate somebody into a catering sales position for that hour, and just teach them and give them the skills and give them the art of sales and put them on the floor. And all they have to do for that hour is shake hands and say hello and build awareness from catering and get a business card or referral. And then off it goes to the catering sales team, goes into the database, into the CRM, right?
Well, you put it part as part of your service culture, right?
Yeah. Totally.
If you teach and train on the activity, right? At the end of the day, what do our employees want? They want to make more money, right? To TJ's point, they make more money by what? Working more hours or selling more things, right? So if we have lots of catering orders, they work overtime, making more money. If they learn the art of selling, which everyone becomes a salesperson, well, we don't have that power hour, because if you teach them the tricks of, hey, the guy that walks in with the shirt on, if you give them the cues to say, hey, look for the logo, totally. and here's how you approach. So one approach could be, hey, do you guys order catering to TJ's example at BMW? If they have the BMW logo. Yeah, we're at the dealership. Hey, if you introduce me to whoever orders your Saturday catering, I'll give you X as a reward, right? And if everybody knows that reward, totally, and the employee gets the incentive because it's the what's in it for them, then they all win. And you don't have to wait till the holidays. Be like, oh, do you want to earn extra Christmas money?
Yep. Totally.
Who wants to earn more money today? And to your point, Erle, we don't even have to send them out. You have 4 walls marketing. You've got X number of guests every day between lunch and dinner. And then create some competition.
Yeah, for sure. Make it fun. Gamify. Hey, absolutely.
Who got the most business cards?
Totally.
Who got the most names? Who did X, Y, or Z? Have some fun with your staffs, right? Re-engage them. And it doesn't get any better than that.
Hey, guys, I think we should open a deli. And I think we should work the floor, the 3 of us. Maybe we'll give Mo a job too. He can work in the back in the kitchen making some sandwiches. But
maybe while we're in Denver, we should just go crash a restaurant and be like, hey, the three of us are going to come in and see who can sell the most in the next 3 hours.
But this is it's so interesting to me, Sam, because I think like a lot of what you're talking about is culture, right? It's just like, it's so building a rich catering culture within your organization is key to the success of catering within a multi-unit restaurant environment. And as a matter of fact, culture trumps strategy. And I love what you're saying about, it's not just one person who's out selling on the floor. It's actually everybody. It's actually teaching the person, from the highest level. And I mean, giving the frontline workers and our teams the skills is an important thing. I mean, I think we're really preparing them for life. We're teaching them to negotiate. We're teaching them how to sell, teach them how to sell themselves. I mean, there's just so many beautiful things that happen here at a human level of teaching people sales skills, don't you think? Right? It's amazing. So a couple more questions, as we get towards the end of our conversation today, Guy, I wanted to ask you, in terms of, maybe from each of you here, like what are the top 3 things you think that need to happen, top 3, that operators need to put in place to create catering excellence?
I'll go first because that's easier.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think one, they need to be engaged in the community and take the reins for what they're going to do. So you look at like a Chick-fil-A, Whataburger, some of these places, they're out in the community at all these events, fun runs and school functions and everything. And they're engaged in the community to educate people. And I would tell you the second piece was tie it to fundraiser nights. And one of the things I think that we did was, if we're doing a school fundraiser night in a sandwich shop, you're not going to get that many people. But if we say, hey, all the teachers, we'll bring you lunch on Friday and we'll count that toward the total. And hey, parents, any catering orders you order for your business, we'll count that toward the total. And now all of a sudden that $100 check for the school becomes $300 or $400 or $500, and we've really helped the people. So, one's community, two's fundraising, and 3 is you have to put systems in place because you cannot make a mistake, period. I worked at Chuck E. Cheese for a long time back in the day, and the birthday parent experience and expectation was significantly higher than a dad coming in with 2 kids to play on a Saturday morning. You can't screw it up. And if you have a recovery issue, you need to get in the car, get them whatever they need, because you're going to damage your brand if you're not 100% of the time.
Excellent points. And on the fundraising thing, for those of you listening, and TJ, I don't know if you know about Charlie over at Donation Scout, what he's doing. Do you know about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing some really cool stuff. He'll be at the conference, actually. You can talk to him.
Perfect.
And basically, he's got a program that's fundraising for catering. He's phenomenal. He's doing great with it.
Awesome.
Sam, what do you think? Like, what, different from TJ or?
So actually, I'm going to parlay on top of one of TJ's points because I think this is very fundamental that everybody can walk away with.
Yeah.
I love school donations and participating and giving back to the community. We also have to realize that our restaurants aren't charity organizations, right? So there has to be a win-win scenario. And I've seen too many operators fail at the charity day, right? So they get ramped up, they're going to do the day, they give the school the flyer, right? But they miss, it's a 3-prong deal, Earl. Number 1, you agree to the charity day. So 1 to 2 weeks, whatever your lineup is, pick a number. The charity needs to post it on all of their social media that they're coming, right? They need to use their voice to amplify it in the community. Number 2, the day when they come in, you make sure you have the organization of collecting the flyers, but make sure the flyer has a space for an email, an opt-in email or a phone number to get them in your database. And then you can reconcile it and then have a hashtag to incentivize them to post their experience for that night onto those social media pages. Again, we want organic, great content because that's the value in social media marketing.
Right.
And then you don't give them the check that night. 2 to 3 weeks later, you have the big erasable whiteboard check. You have them come in and you give them that check and you have them post that. So now you've got a minimum of 3 posts on their social channels, plus all of their people, advocates, and ambassadors.
Right.
And that, to me, is the measurement. Not only is the sales, did they raise $100, $200, $1,000, back to the charity, but did I get X amount of digital impressions?
Yep.
And did I grow my database by X? Right? So all these efforts of giving somebody $200, $300, $400 needs to have that return. So if you take those 3 steps and you add that to what TJ said, we've got a winning podcast here and something that somebody can go back and use today.
Great. Love it. That's great insight, Sam. Thank you for that. Amazing. And, I think for any operators listening out there, franchisees, I think, what I'm learning from the two of you on this call, is that, it's community driven. Like, we've always known that, but I mean, you guys are closer to it. Like you're in it. Like Sam, you're in operations more than I am nowadays. And I think things haven't changed. It's still like, you're an entrepreneur, you're opening a location in a community and you need to participate in that community, and that's what it's about. And, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a people person and like you are, right, that's easier for people persons, right? But if you're an introvert and you're not very good with people, then you should probably hire someone that is, right? That can sort of join your team who can help you on this front. Because ultimately, I think if you're in the community, you're out shaking hands, you're taking care of people, you're giving back, that's how you get. And also, it's a giant sampling program.
100%, Earl. Yeah. And I think we talk about this a lot, TJ and I. You have to be the mayor of the mile.
Mayor of the mile. Love it.
Mayor of the mile, right?
Great.
You're shaking hands, you're participating, you're engaging. You think about being the mayor of the mile. Totally. But let's not just think about in your restaurant. Earl, look at what you're doing being the mayor of the mile of the catering community, right? You've now come full circle to be the center to bring all of the other participants back, right? All the local aldermen like TJ and I, right? Because you're the mayor of the mile coordinating it. You can take the mayor of the mile adage and place it into anything. Because if you care about the people, community, work, if you're in hospitals, I don't care what segments you're in. If you just take that mentality of giving, being authentic, sharing, and working on your business, it will come back to you in droves.
Love it. Mayor of the mile. I'm going to take that one, Sam. Can I have that?
You can have that because it's all about sharing.
It says it all. It's like, says it all. Guys, I really want to thank you. Before I let you go, listen, just for our listeners, Sam, why should people come to the restaurant catering workshop in Denver, October 15th and 16th? What do you think? Because
they are going to walk away with more learnings then they're going to be able to deploy in the next year. And they're going to meet at least 3 new people that will impact their life that they don't know today, that will become a friend, that will become part of their tribe, and that will help motivate them when the struggle is real and they're delivering at 3 a.m. to an Amazon warehouse going, why am I doing this? And then they have a $5,000 check. They're going, that's why I was there in October.
Nice. Thank you. TJ, how about you?
I think this content is so spot on and specific that you just don't see those at conferences. We're at a conference right now. There's sustainability and employee recognition and trust. And, you have to do that for this audience. The audience that is going to be there is your peer group. You're going to learn more from them probably than you learn from the people on the stage. And I know all of us presenting, we're going to learn more from the audience than we do as well. It's just, what a one-time opportunity to come together and really go back to your company. And it's easy to show the impact that this conference will have had on your company's P&L.
Awesome, guys. It really keeps me going because I tell you, none of it's a straight line. So I've had moments going, what am I doing here? I should just go ride my bike, go back, because I came out of retirement. But I'm loving it. I love this conversation. I really enjoyed our time together. And this reminds me of why I'm doing it, So thanks, guys. Really appreciate your time today. Enjoy the rest of your time at Prosper. Thanks for making time for us.
Thanks, Earl.
Okay, guys. Take care of yourselves.